Now we have a world where there's an introduction of hybrids, and you can argue like even before that people used to do hybrid seeds. What is your understanding of how did people, especially like indigenous people like in Kenya, used to interact with seeds before even hybrids came into existence?
I mean, I would say broadly, from my understanding of how our human interaction, let me just broaden it even beyond Kenya with agriculture has been, is that, you know, like we started from hunting and gathering, and then we started to cultivate, and then we started to select. So the human being has, of course, a lot of people are now talking about, you know, like quantum computing and all that, and how you can get other dimensions and into the world, other perspectives. We are limited to 3D. This is the most we can see, you know. So human beings are rational, farmers are rational, even indigenous people are rational. This is if I said anything else, it would be an indictment to them. My assumption first is that every human being is rational. Some animals can also be rational, like cats, you know, or it depends a bit, but all human beings are rational to begin with. And rational with the limitation of the perspective that they have about things. So if you think about the crops that we consume today, these crops have been selected over time by people. Even before people started breeding in university and people started to do genetically modified whatever crops, this selection has been done by us as human beings, as a species. And we have selected from the beginning of time what we thought was more productive, what we thought was more resilient, what we thought was more colorful, and what we thought was more nutritious to us at that time. Okay, so I think for me it's a continuous process that we have been doing by just selecting. So even if, like the example you are giving about your grandmother and how, you know, she would select seeds, I'm sure she would be selecting based on cob size to begin with. So cob size is indicator number one. Okay, cob size might not mean that is the most resilient crop. Maybe, you know, if there is a disease that will come later in, you know, after 10 years of selecting based on cob size, then there are certain characteristics that you are leaving behind. Yeah, so this is the point. So I think the loss happens because of that continuous selection that is limited in the sense of, this is what I see and this is what I want. I don't care about what I see because I don't even know what I don't see. So I think this is what I can say about it. So it's a continuous process. I don't think what we are doing now is different from what, you know, even the very, very first versions of Homo sapiens, or even if we went back to the other species that we were before, I don't think it's anything different. It's only that maybe that now we are just writing it on paper to say, so we selected this maize because it was 15 centimeters. The cob size was 15 centimeters. But our grandparents would still select. They would just not maybe measure the cob size as scientists at university would do. They would not measure, they would not bother to go to the field and measure the height of the stem. Okay? But they would still select based on those attributes.